Welcome to another beautiful beginner-friendly watercolor tutorial. Today we'll be painting a beautiful night sky in watercolors. We'll be using the wet on wet technique to create the background skies. Today I'm using watercolor paints from Mission Magello. These are professional grade watercolors which are really vibrant. I'm using the first color, quinacridone permanent rose, followed by permanent red. I'm mixing these two colors. I'm using a White Nights watercolor brush for this painting. The next color I'm using is bright clear violet, which is a beautiful color. Use a darker shade of violet for the upper parts of the sky. I'm using a White Nights brush for this painting. Let's allow the background to dry completely and then we'll paint the trees for the background. This set has beautiful earth colors which I really enjoy. The first color we'll be using is burnt sienna. I'm watering it down and we'll paint this as the first layer for the trunk of the trees. I'm varying the thickness of the trees to add some interest. Let's add burnt sienna to the mixture that we already have on our palette, and we'll use this color to create some patterns and textures on the tree trunks. Let's continue to add some patterns on the trees. Now I'm adding Van Dyke brown, which is a much darker shade of brown, almost like a blackish brown, to add some more details on the trunk of the trees. The first two colors that we applied for the trunk of the tree are still damp. So the trunk of the tree is still damp. So when we apply Van Dyke brown, it beautifully blends and merges to create beautiful patterns on the tree. Now let's start adding branches for the tree. I'm using a Princeton script liner brush for this step. You can use the thinnest brush that is available with you or use the tip of a brush or a fine tip rounded brush for this step. Let's make the branches thicker at the top and as they come down, taper them. So make them thinner on the lower sides. Now let's dilute the wash that we're already having on our palette and let's start painting the leaves. I'm using the side of my brush, it's a round brush from White Nights, and I'm using the side of the brush to just dab the paint on the branches to create the leaves. There is no particular shape that I'm using. I'm just dabbing the side of my brush in different directions to create leaf-like patterns. Let's use Van Dyke Brown to darken the leaves that are on the upper part of the painting. Remember, when painting leaves, the background skies should still be visible. Otherwise, it will be like a big chunk of black or brown, and we will not be able to see the texture of the leaf in the painting. So when we're painting leaves, make sure the background layers are still visible through the leaves. Let's add tiny twigs using a Princeton fine liner brush for the final details. Just short, small, simple strokes using the tip of the brush. I'm using a white Posca marker to add a full moon for this painting. You can also use white gouache or white poster colors for this step. Let's add glow to the moon using yellow Posca markers on the lower side of the moon. Feeling the enchantment of a moonlit sky, don't miss out on the chance to capture this serene beauty on your paper. And do tag me if you recreate this painting. You can share your work with me on my Instagram page, Jacinta_art. And if you enjoyed this painting, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let's create many more magical landscapes together. Here are a few more beginner friendly landscapes that you might want to try next. Thank you for joining. See you again in the next video.